Hello, everybody. FinnCapp here. I would like to welcome you to our first episode on MCHub, the Skyblock server. One of the most frequently asked questions I get here as part of the media team is, Finn, how do I start? Where do I start? How do I get going? You know, this is all pretty new to me. And while there are a lot of people that may have their own opinion, and all are definitely valid, this is how I learned. So I'm going to show you how I would get started on the server and start earning both shards and credits, which are going to be two of the main currencies that you use on the server itself. Once the new season of Skyblock starts, you're going to want to hop onto the server and get started. That being said, you can use my custom link for the server. I will have the address pinned down in the comments below, but it is fin.mchub.com. That way you can get on and, show me a little bit of love, letting them know that you're coming from my channel, my community. I would appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and kind of come on in here. What we're going to do is once we have the fin.mchub.com in as the server address, we'll come in. We can see that we can play prison, Skyblock, or survival. We're going to be playing on the Skyblock today. Go ahead and load in. This is going to be your kind of main hub area. If you choose to play around and go and explore, you're more than welcome to. They did a beautiful job kind of designing the hub if you want to go take a look around. But what we're going to concern ourselves with right now is we are going to go ahead and use the little compass we have here. We're going to right click the compass, and then we are going to click here for the Skyblock. Once you get in, because the server does have a custom texture pack for both blocks, tools, pickaxes, that kind of thing. So if you'd like to see what they have for that, go ahead and make sure and have that enabled. But once we're on here, what you need to do is we need to start off by creating our island. Here is spawn where you first come in. So if you'd like to look, they do have a couple of loot boxes or loot chests available that you will get keys for, but that'll be kind of for another video. But once we're here, we're going to use a command, which is going to help us get our island started. So we're going to do /island. Once we do that, we have a couple of different options here. There is the Cozy Cottage, and then there's the Bare Island. The Cozy Cottage is going to have just a little bit more decor to it. It's going to have a tree or two. It's going to have a cottage on there. Both options will have NPCs on there, which we'll deal with when we get there. Or you can go with just the Bare Island. The Bare Island literally is just going to be an island. You go on there, start building to your heart's content, which is the option that we are going to choose today. Now that we've started, we've created our island, MCHub. Welcome, Cameraman Finn. We are on our alt account today recording, as my main account, my media account, is on another team, and I don't want to pull it off for this, so we're going to show you on this today, because, we can. Hello, how are you? Pleasure to see you guys again. You guys should know me from other videos. Shh, don't tell them I escaped the actual prison. It's fine. But welcome, do not fall. It's okay. Even if you do fall, you just land back on your island. It's okay. You'll notice a couple of things. We do have one tree, which that's whatever we're going to be taking down. We do have just basically a flat island. That over there is our generator, which we'll go over here very shortly. Got a nice little piece of bedrock. You can kind of use that as a centering point if you would like to. But you'll notice we kind of got a couple things going on here. You have these little gold blocks, which technically should have the NPCs on it, which you will see have kind of spawned out over here into the void. Not a problem at all. We can get those taken care of super easy. So what we can do is we can either leave them out there if you kind of just like them, possibly eventually falling to the death. I promise they really won't fall. We can move them or we can despawn them. Everything that you can do through the NPCs, you can also do through / commands. So if you don't want them on your island, great, you can get rid of them. If you do, some people come and stick them back up on these gold blocks. Or you can spawn them in wherever you would like. If you want to go the route of spawning them in, essentially what you can do is you can come over, stand here, and we are going to use another command, which is going to be island space control panel. Once we have the island control panel, you would go to the island menu. Once you've gone to the island menu, you can look at the NPCs, which is going to be right here, and it gives you all the NPCs that are over there. It tells you each one that are there. You can either left click if you'd like to place it, or right click to delete. If you delete it, they're not permanently gone. You can always spawn them back in, but this way it just gets them up and out of the way. Or if you want them on your island, Just left click on one and it'll pop them up right where you have them right here. I typically choose just to get them all out of there because I don't really need them, and we can do everything via the slash command. So if we do that, go back in here, go back into our island menu, go back. All you need to do is right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, and that should get rid of all of them off of your island. You see they're gone. Again, they're not completely gone. You can always use the command to get them back, but keep in mind you can use slash commands for everything they can do, so you don't have to have them on your island. Now is also a great time for you to mention that if this is your first time, a couple of things. One, you should definitely use the /Discord command. That's going to give you a link down here to the Discord. You should go and link your Discord and then sync it through /sync. Okay. It generates you a sync code. You can use sync with that code in the Discord to sync your roles and earn a free reward. And what that does is you start off as a soldier. Going and doing that gives you the knight rank. It's one step up from the soldier. It gets you a little better cell multi rate, and it also gets you a little better armor kit, which we're going to be using for the next step of this process. From this point, what we're going to do is we're going to head to the first stone that's really going to kind of be important to us, which is going to be the PvE, or player versus environment. And you can do so with that command, which is /PvE. But before we do, as long as you linked your Discord and you got that role, you can do /kits, KITS. Now, I have a higher rank on this account, so but we're going to show you what you would get is the knight role or the knight rank. You could then click on this. It will give you both a pouch and an armor note. We can use the pouch. It's going to give us some credits. You can then also right click on the armor note itself, and it gives us a base set of gear. It gives us stake, which we're not really going to use. We don't use it for health or anything. We do have a couple golden apples. Now, what we're also going to keep out and use here is going to be the knight sword. We are going to use the pickaxe eventually. We are going to use the hoe, and we are going to use the axe. The sword we're going to use for mob killing. Eventually, when we get into doing our other farms that I'll show you in later videos, we are going to use the pickaxe. For what we're getting ready to do, you don't have to, but I kind of like to be Farmer John, so we are going to use the hoe. And then we're also going to have the axe for use, and if we go into the PvE area, to actually fight mobs, to kill the boss, or into the dungeons. Now, depending on what you're doing to your island, you may use the shovel as well, so you want to hang on to it. But we're not mainly going to use that for most of our playthrough on the Skyblock server. All right, without further ado, let's head on over to PvE. All right, so let's head on over there. We're going to do /PvE. And this is going to take us to the PvE area. All right, so we need to make sure we have our sword in case we get attacked. We have our armor. Now, again, PvP can't happen here. This is a strict PvE area, but you do have to watch out for mobs. There are a couple of mobs over here, including skeletons, zombies, things of the such. But we are going to head over here to the end of this little bridge. Once you get over here, you can make a decision whatever you would like to do or is easier for you. You either head left, there's a carrot farm over there, or right, there's a carrot farm over there. We are going to drop down over here and go wee, and we are going to head right. Now there are going to be a couple of mobs, so we're going to come over here and kill a couple of these. Hopefully we don't die. Our armor's not the greatest in the world as a knight, but we'll kind of make it work. That being said, there are a few of the kind of lower ranks that you can get for pretty cheap. A lot of the server will give them away for free, such as Guardian, Hero. Not always, but there are the chance. So just something to keep an eye out and keep a watch out for. But we are going to kill this one last guy. This should make us safe, at least for a little bit. And then we're going to come over here. Now you see this entire patch over here is all nothing but carrots. And what we're going to do is we're going to farm these carrots. With these carrots, our goal is to just farm them until we completely fill up our inventory. So we're going to go ahead and just grab a couple now. Now they are infinitely growing, so they'll take just a second to grow. But you've got this entire patch to work in. So don't think that you're going to out farm the carrots, because you're not. Now, keep in mind, once our inventory is full, we're going to use a command to sell all these to basically the server shop. So if you do /sell all, that will sell everything that you have that's sellable in your inventory. In this case, it's going to be all of our carrots. Our goal here is to get up to 5 million credits. Once we have our 5 million credits, we're going to progress back to our island and do a couple things to really get going. But we're going to do that now. I am going to farm them all. Now you see in the top right hand side, I do have a few credits earlier. I'm going to basically completely take all those out of my inventory, and then we're going to go back and farm up the entire 5 million just to show you that we can do it. I am going to insert a time lapse here to kind of hang out for just a little bit, enjoy a little bit of music. It won't be too long, and I will see you guys back here once we're ready to go and do our time lapse. So what we're going to do is we're going to do credits, withdraw all. That's going to take every credit that we have in there. It's going to give us a little note. We're going to stick this little note up here in the side. We'll save that. That's used for a later video, but you can see we have 0 credits right now. And then we're going to go ahead and farm up about 5 million. So I'll see you guys back here once we get back with the credits.
I'm that dude, bet I see you from the top, yeah, real soon. Looking down on the haters that I've been through. Told them I'll see you later, yeah, big truth. I keep a real good pace, built a big house, damn, look at that place. Up in my mind, cause that's my space. House so big, full of positive things. And I can't be shook, cause I ain't no rook, man, I wrote the book. Now I teach how to cook them beats like, look, making things look good. I just want trophies, blacks with a whole goal if you know me. Gotta go record on the wall, look closely. Got that record all alone like lonely, I'm just sick of waiting cause I feel it's frustrating when I always put the hours in. But ain't nobody wanna recognize independence, it threatens their continent. So I chase that bag, trophies are dope but I'd rather have cash. Sitting in the bank cause I paid my tax. Living my life, my way, my path, I go. Move fast, anyone who ain't hitting full gas. Who that, choose that, hard work, that wins, true facts. I'ma go big, grind hard, throw a few jabs. Big hook next to the dome, knock her straight back down to the floor. Anyone in my way smacked, I don't take bad thoughts, no, I remove that. My team got good minds, I can prove that.
I got these dreams that I've been chasing. I got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. Chasing, I've got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. You'll see me at the top one day.
Yo, when it ain't toxic, shut your mouth and pick a different topic. Taking off like a rocket, got that energy, you can call me socket. Doing that boss fish, all I do is focus on increasing that profit. Yeah, I'm on like a faucet, ready to make another deposit. Never been complacent since I was 8, I steady stay chasing. Always winning adjacent, side by side, grind hard in the basement. Ain't no replacement, only one me, yes to the free agent. Cause I go with this payments, otherwise I don't really have any patience. Making that honey, I wanna be something that's more than just money. I wanna teach others and see them becoming a version they never thought. Now they be hunting their goals and their dreams, yeah, all in their reach. They listen to me, the things that I preach, and change their whole lives to something belief. And now their own mind is all that they need. I'm loving the journey, got rid of the doubt and the worry. I'm moving no mercy, whatever I get I'm deserving. I put in the work in, I feel like I'm never done working. I always stay thirsty, cause it keeps me alive when I'm learning.
I got these dreams that I've been chasing. I've got some things I've been upgrading. No one can stop me from this craving. Chasing.
All right, we are getting just finished up here. We have a little over our 5 million. We were just kind of tacking out the rest of our inventory real quick. We are going to do one last final sell all. Get us a little bit more money. Now, one thing you will notice as you're farming these carrots, we are going to get a couple things from the mobs attacking us. You can get fuel, which is a generator fuel, which we will use on our island in the main generator to get spawners or to fuel our spawners to work, as well as you can actually get spawners here. You can get chicken, pig, you can get all the tier 1 spawners to drop here. So as you can see, they can drop. Now, we're not going to use the pig spawner for this. We're just going to stick it off to the side. But you can also get chicken ones. So as you're working towards that, keep that in mind. So we also have our generator fuel. You can get keys or crate keys while you're killing the mobs as well. Those can be used in spawn. You would just do /spawn. That would take you there. Right click the key as long as it's just in your hand, and that would allow you to open the key, which can give you pouches and give you a number of other things. But we sold our last inventory. We have our 5 million credits. So we're going to head back over to our island with our nice little nifty command, go back to our island, and we're going to start working on doing our island from here. Now, with our island, what we're going to want to start to do is we're going to want to get some kind of building block to build. You can do grass, you can do dirt, do whatever it is that you choose, being that we're going to be working on using our spawners, and as well as working through what is called our masteries. Again, with our masteries, we're going to be working on our crops. I want grass. You can use dirt. Spread is on for grass, but I just want to buy grass. So for us to do that, we're going to build out the island. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me build out the island, but I am going to build out just a couple of chunks. But before I go, a couple of things. If you do /shop, this allows us to buy spawners. We can buy materials for building. We can buy our crops. We can buy a number of things here. So this is just one of the things that you need to know, one of the areas that you can be, as well as let's go ahead and get ourselves some grass. You can buy them in multiples. We're just going to go ahead and buy about that much grass for us to start. But as we're placing, if you do F3 plus G as in girl, that shows the chunk borders, so you can kind of plan out how you want to do it. I like to at least start with one full chunk for my farming. And then I put in the adjacent chunk next to me my spawners, because you have to be within a certain distance of them for them to run. As well as something to keep in mind that you need to know, this little bit of generator fuel that we talked about earlier is going to go into our generators here over there. Also keep in mind, now I'm currently flying because of the rank I have, which is the hero rank. If you have underneath a guardian rank, so the normal knight rank, unfortunately you cannot fly on the server. You will have to hand place all of this stuff, which I know sucks, but this is why I said earlier, if you can kind of keep an eye out for a higher rank, at least guardian. A lot of the higher end players will just give these things away, or they'll sell them for very, very cheap, a very little bit amount of either gold coins, shards, or credits on the auction house. You can at least pick yourself up the guardian rank that will allow you to fly, and it makes your life much easier. Once you get a little higher, I'm not sure as to the exact rank. On hero, you can do, I believe it's 32, but you run into something what is called fast place that makes doing your island a little easier. Now, this will only work for blocks. It will not work for things like the crops themselves, but it almost acts like a builder's wand. It allows you to place a certain amount of blocks in a line at one time. We can do 32. I am going to use a very judicious amount of this to place all the blocks, because I don't want to place them by hand. But if you don't have that access, unfortunately, you're just going to have to play them by hand. But before we get to go any further, like I said, you can come over here. We do have the island generator. What the island generator does is it basically generates power for things to run. If we have robots, it runs those. If we have spawners, it runs those. And it runs off of the fuel that we saw earlier. Now, this generator fuel you can get for killing mobs in PvE and dungeons. You can also get it off the bosses and then the chests inside the dungeons as well. What you do is come over here to your generator, right click on it. You have this over here, manage fuel, and then we can just dump as much fuel as we want to in here. We're just going to dump it all for our purposes. As you can see, it starts giving it a power output and then a usage. Once our island starts putting down stuff like robots or spawners, it'll start usage. We currently have it set to efficient. You can change the setting to also something like an overclock, where it will put out a lot more power to make things work faster, but it also burns through your fuel a lot faster. This can also be augmented if we go back in here by the button which over here, upgrades. With the upgrades, we have upgrades starting at basic and going up to godlike. With these upgrades, you can get them again from fighting mobs, you can get them from the chests and dungeons, or you can get them from crates. The way these work is they're stackable, and when you stack it, upgrades it to the next tier. So if you had 2 basic, you stacked them, it would make it into a common, 2 commons into a rare, so on and so forth. If you have a bunch of them, or if you get some of them from, say, like a dungeon, you come back to your island, you can just insert all your upgrades and then condense them, and it'll condense them anywhere from the basic all the way up through godlike. So just something to keep in mind. This is something you will have to go over and use. We'll go over this in a later video in more depth, but just something to keep in mind. All right, we're going to come back over here. I'm going to go ahead and get the island built out real quick, and I will see you guys back here once I have it built out. Okay, and we're back. We have our island built out a little bit. We built a little extra over there, but that's completely okay. But we just took out a couple of chunks, nothing absolutely huge. I typically want to use one full chunk to start for our farming. And then right in the very next chunk, I have the spawners themselves, because you do have to be somewhat close to the spawners themselves for them to activate. So just, there we go. Now that being said, we used F3 and G for the chunks. So we're going to go ahead and take those back off. And then we are going to move forward. But what we're going to do and what our goal here is, we are going to be buying a couple of chicken spawners, which we're going to use to farm chickens. Those chickens we're going to use to farm shards, which we will use to enchant our tools and gear. We are going to work on our farming, which we are then going to use for selling for credits. Those credits we're going to use to buy more chicken spawners, to get more shards to enchant our gear. So it's kind of a back and forth cycle that we're going to use if you find that you're running out of either one of those things to do. So the chickens aren't spawning fast enough because we only have a couple of them, or we're waiting on the crops to grow. It's always a great idea. You can always go back to PvE, go farm some more carrots. It's always good starter money. Once you do that for a little bit, come back and you can start working on your farm again. All of this is working towards, at the start, working on our mastery. So what we want to do is, if we come here and we go /mastery, there are a couple of things this shows us. There are 3 different types of base masteries, which are going to be our ores. We're going to worry about that in another video. We're not going to cover it. The main 2 that we're going to be looking at here are going to be for our crops and for our mobs. Specifically with our mobs, if we click on here, it shows us all the different masteries that we have. Specifically the chickens we're going to be looking for. We're not going to focus too much on paying attention to the mastery for this just yet, but we will eventually. But just know that we are going to have to kill a certain amount of tier 1 mobs, or in this case chickens, before we can plant or put down any higher of spawners. So tier 2, that kind of stuff, we have to kill a certain amount till we get there. That'll be a separate video, but it's something to keep in mind. But this is one of the masteries we're going to be working on while we're killing our chickens. And each time we kill a certain amount, we go up a tier of mastery. We get buffs that you can see are the perks down at the bottom. Again, these matter more in another video, but just to show them to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in and look at the one that we're really going to be looking at the mastery for, which is also going to be our crops. Now, with the crops, the way the masteries work is you have to plant them and harvest them. On harvest, you're going to get an amount of broken or harvested. We have to get to T3 of one plant before we can progress to the next plant. So wheat, we're going to have to farm up to tier 3 of the wheat mastery before we can move on to the next one, which would be the beetroot. We'll have to get to tier 3 of the mastery of the beetroot before we can move to the carrots, so on and so forth, which is why you really want to start this early. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to get through it, but it is something that you need to be working on to eventually get up to placing the nether wart and using that for an end game farm. Okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start by sticking these back up here in our inventory. We are going to go into the shop again, and we are going to start off with our spawners. We're going to go to spawners, the tier 1 spawners, and then we're going to get some chicken spawners. We're going to buy 4 because we have 5 million. We used a little bit of that 5 million for blocks, and then we're going to need some for crops as well. So we're only going to buy 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get started. We are going to start over here. We're going to place our first chicken spawner, and then we are going to right click that spawner, which gives us another little menu. And then we are going to add spawners. You can add them 1 at a time, 10 at a time, however many spawners that you have. So we currently have 4. Now what this is going to do, this is going to use that generator fuel that we first put in our island generator to start spawning mobs. As it spawned them, we are going to take our handy dandy little sword here and we're going to kill them, which is going to give us shards. Those shards allow us to put enchants on our gear. We are specifically going to be focusing on 2 for this to get started, which are going to be souls and double edge. So we just killed off our stack. We're going to come in here. We're going to look at enchants. You start typing /enchant and hit enter. This is what allows us to use those shards to enchant our gear. We're going to be specifically looking at our sword. Now, the sword is going to be used primarily for killing mobs on our island. So it's going to have very specific enchants. So if we click on it, there's 2 we're going to focus on. The first one is going to be souls. As we get more shards, we're going to start full dumping into souls enchant until we get it to level 100, which is max. What the souls enchant does, as you can see, is it's a chance to drop extra shards when you kill a mob. Once we finish this, we're then going to focus and completely max out double edge. Double edge allows us to kill 2 mobs every swing. Our goal here is to max out shards and then double edge. So when we max out shards, it's going to give us 2 shards total for every mob we kill. Every time we swing a mob with double edge, we're going to kill 2 of those. So it effectively doubles the amount of shards that we're going to get. So again, we're going to focus on souls first, and then we are going to focus on double edge. Our goal here to really get started is to get about 200 chicken spawners. Now, it sounds like a lot until you start looking at, you're going to start bringing in a lot more money when you start selling your crops. So between farming the carrots, selling the crops here on island, we're going to start getting a bunch of credits, which we can then put in and get to our goal of about 200, maybe a little bit more chicken spawners. The reason we want that many is the more chicken spawners we add to the stack, the more chickens it spawns every time it goes off or procs, and the faster it procs those chickens. So our goal is to kind of make this an infinite farm where we can just sit here and farm chickens over and over and over as much as we want to start working on maxing out our enchants. Now we'll use these shards to max out a lot more than just the enchant on our sword. We'll use it on our sword, and we'll also use it for an endgame farm for our hoe as well. But for this starter video, we're really just going to be focusing on the sword. Now that this is going, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we will kill a couple of these chickens. All right, there we go. And you can see we got cooked chicken for doing that. We can use the same thing we did with the carrots. We can use that sell all command, and that will sell those off. Now, while we're waiting on those to get back up, we're going to open our F3G menu back up again. And I like to keep these just a little bit separate, but we're going to come in here and we are going to set up 1 full chunk for our farming. Again, I won't make you watch this. I'm just going to fast place it real quick and quick get it done. I'll see you back here in just a minute once we're ready to start putting seeds down. Okay, and we're back. We have this kind of set up for our first little farm. Before we get going too much further, if you guys wouldn't mind doing me a huge favor, if you do feel that you've learned something, you feel that you're enjoying the content, you like the video, if you wouldn't mind doing me a quick favor and hit that sub button if you're not yet subscribed. Make sure you turn the bell notification on. Give the video a quick thumbs up. That would be a huge help towards me bringing you content. This is what I do for a living, and I love doing it. So if you guys wouldn't mind helping out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if you wouldn't mind, in the comments down below, tell me what mob in PvE you hate fighting the most. I personally cannot stand fighting the little baby Skeletonzors. It's like they're super quick Zoros, but they shoot arrows, and I just end up dying to them a lot. So let me know down in the comments what mob you guys hate fighting the most. And, you know, Skeletonzors can go die in a hole. I'm just throwing it out there. So now that we have this all set up, we can start actually doing our farm. So we're going to go back to our handy dandy shop, and we're going to pick up some of our seeds. Again, we were talking about the mastery. /mastery tells you we need to work our way through each one of the crops, starting with wheat all the way up through the netherwort. So we're going to go back into here to our crops and seeds, and you can buy wheat. That's not what we want to do. What we want to do is buy the seed next to it. We want to grow the wheat, so we need to start with the base amount of wheat seeds. So we'll go wheat seeds. We're going to just go ahead and grab a stack of it. You can buy more if you have more money, whatever's easy up to you. But we're just grabbing a stack, and then we're going to go through and we're going to get started just getting it planted. And obviously, one stack is not going to get us through an entire chunk, but this is where we also have our spawners come back in. So we're going to get all this planted. Our goal is to let it grow. Once it grows, we're going to break it all. Once we've broken it, then it'll start counting towards that mastery, and then we can start replacing it. Now I'll start off with one chunk like this, but I will eventually take this out to a 1 chunk by 3 chunks long, so we can just make a super big farm and work our way through the mastery as quick as possible. It'll take a little time for us to work our way through it, but that's okay. Again, here's what we run into, multiplying what we do. So we've got this growing. Obviously, we can't do anything here. Once that's done, we can come over here and start working on killing all of our chickens. Boop. All right, chickens are dead. We can go through and sell them all again. And then we want to look at adding enchants to our sword. We'll go back to our enchants. We'll come over here to our sword. Our souls enchant, again, is the first one we're working on. We don't have quite enough shards just yet. We need 500. Once we kill this next round, we should be able to put our first level enchant. And this is what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of rinse and repeat. We're going to kill chickens till we have enough to start putting more souls enchants on. We're going to max the soul enchant first. Then we are going to max the double enchant or the double edge enchant. While we're doing that, we're going to start working our way through the mastery for our crops. Once we get done with wheat, we'll move up to beetroots. Once we kind of get to that point and get this rolling, we can also work into slowly starting up. If you like to mine, there are a couple of different farms you can set up for mining. We'll go over those in a different video, but that in itself should give you a very good idea, a very good start of just how to get started on Skyblock. If you run out of things to do, if you find you're waiting on chickens, you're waiting on these, you can still also go back to PvE, go farm more carrots and sell. It's always good money, which will allow you to start getting some more spawners to put in, which allows you to get more, and just rinse and repeat. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something from it. It has truly been my pleasure to come and make this video for you. If you do have any questions, you can also ask them down in the comments, or if you happen to see me on in-game on either one of my accounts, which is FinnCapp, which is my main media account, or Cameraman Finn, which is the one we're recording on today, you're more than welcome to ping me and say, hey, Finn, I've got some questions. I will answer whatever questions I can for you. But thank you so much for coming along with this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed making it. That being said, thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey into learning how to play on the Skyblock version of MCHub. It has been my pleasure to bring you this episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next video or in stream, which you can find all of my socials. They'll be down in the description. But I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Goodbye.